Hello and welcome. Welcome to the podcast once again. My name is Alfred, and as per usual, it's another Sunday. Bring these podcasts every first Sunday of the month and the last Sunday, and this being the last Sunday for the month of July, and we are doing it again. And before we start, I'd like to thank all those who've reached out to me with their emails, especially. Very grateful and thankful for reaching out and giving me some of your questions. Very grateful to be of help. And I really appreciate the support that you guys are giving me. Thank you very much. And as we are about to say goodbye to July and usher in August, we continue with our journey of creating a strong mind and a strong body. And today's podcast is about how we can create a strong mindset. How we can create a strong mindset. And we are going to look at 3 pillars of creating a strong mindset. 3 pillars. One being resilience, and the second being emotional control, and the third being confidence. So we're going to look at resilience, emotional control, and confidence, and see there are key aspects and how we can adapt them into our lives, and so obviously to create a strong mindset. Okay, we're going to start with confidence, right? How confidence can actually help us in creating a strong mind. Now, with confidence, right? Confidence instills in us a sense of self-assurance and capability. Once we are confident in something, we are able to be assured, we're just self-assured, and because of our abilities and our capabilities. And so now let's look at the key aspects of creating this confidence. So for confidence, one of the key aspects is going to start with a positive self-image. You see, once you're confident and you've created a way of being confident that's working on yourself or doing something that gives you confidence, you'll enhance how you actually perceive yourself. The way you perceive yourself is very, very important, because if you perceive yourself or see yourself in a negative manner, it will be hard to have that assurance of yourself, and self-esteem. Your self-esteem basically will be very low. So once you cultivate that confidence, you perceive yourself as someone who has capabilities and abilities, which enhances your belief in yourself, right? Hence, a very positive image of yourself. You should create a positive image of yourself. Another key aspect to confidence, right, is that confidence drives perseverance. You persevere in the face of danger or risk, or where you think that you cannot go through, right, something that is tough. So with persistence, because you're confident at what you're doing, right, you will tend to persevere even in the face of difficulties. And another key aspect of confidence is that, or just confident people, is that confident people are basically decisive. They're very decisive because they trust their judgment and their intuition. You see, once you've put in the work, you are better able to see things because you've gone through them, right? You have that experience, you have that know-how because you've done the work, you've put in the work. So you have better judgment of certain situations that you're going through, or you can be intuitive about it, right? That's what confidence is about, that you have judgment, better judgment, or just good judgment of a situation that you can actually pull through or go through the situation without actually to founder about and not be able to stumble. And so those are the three key aspects of confidence, and I encourage people to cultivate these aspects or work on them at least, so that you can at least be able to persevere in whatever endeavor you want to achieve. And now let's look at another pillar of a strong mindset, and that is resilient. Being resilient. So that's resilience for you. So resilience enables individuals to cope with and overcome challenges and setbacks. So if you come across challenges and setbacks and you have not cultivated resilience, or you're not resilient, then it will be hard for you to cultivate confidence at the same time, right? So resilience is one of those pillars because it helps you to actually go through those challenges and overcome them. And so what are the key aspects of resilience? Let's take a look at them, and so you can know how to cultivate resilience. So number one key aspect of resilience is adjustment to circumstances. You have to be able to adjust to circumstances because you find yourself usually in different circumstances in life. So if you're not able to adjust to them and adapt to them, then it will be hard for you to cultivate a resilient mindset. Adaptability also, it helps you focus on your goals. And when you focus on your goals, and even if you come across obstacles, you're able to better adapt. So adaptability should be something you should be able to also cultivate, so that you can better adapt to your environment and prosper in it. Another key aspect of being resilient is maintaining a positive outlook in life. With so much negativities that is going on, from people trying to discourage you, all sort of things happening in the world, all negative stuff, we tend to adapt to these negative things and think that's the way life is supposed to go. But you have to have a positive outlook. There's always a positive side to life. And so when you look at the positive side to life, that's when you're able to influence outcomes better, right? Especially outcomes that you have the ability to influence, right? Then by influencing these outcomes, you can recover from difficulties. Listen, we all go through certain difficulties in life. It's part of life. But without having that optimistic or sort of hope in life, right? As long as you're working on them, then your life will tend to be gloomy and you will be sad. But at the end of the day, you still have to work on the positive side. See the positive side and work on that, so that you can go through those difficulties. And another key aspect of resilience is self-efficiency. Self-efficiency. Once you're self-efficient, right, you are much more confident that you have that ability to reinforce your beliefs, right? You believe in yourself, so that now you can reinforce that, and you can work your way through your goals. And being self-efficient, right, you're more confident that you can handle whatever comes your way. And it's very important that you have that confidence to withstand anything that will come your way. Listen, no one knows what's going to happen today, later on, or tomorrow, but you have to have put in the work, so that you're confident enough to know that you can handle certain situation that may arise, that could be a surprise, anything that you think that could actually get you out of your element. So being self-sufficient and being efficient, this will help you actually be able to handle things better, and this eventually will make you much more resilient. And now let's look at the third pillar of a strong mindset, and that is emotional control. Third pillar is emotional control. So what does emotional control do? Emotional control helps us, right, to best manage our emotions. Once we're able to do this effectively, we get better at decision making, and we have overall a better or a healthy mental state. Now let's look at key aspects of emotional control. So one key aspect of emotional control is that emotional control helps in stress management. And why is this important? Because once you're able to manage your stress, you will prevent yourself from overthinking and having an overwhelming wave of emotions. And so once you're able to control this, then you obviously are able to also control your actions. So yeah, you have to be able to manage your stress and also manage your action, control basically your actions. Okay, let's look at number 2 of key aspect of emotional control. With emotional control, another key aspect is that you get clear thinking. As we go on our daily lives, so much is going on, right? That's why we get sort of foggy sort of thinking. And with this brain fog, we tend not to be able to think clearly, right? Because of the brain fog, obviously we have so much going on, work, family, all these things that are going on. So we get this brain fog in our head, and we are not really able to think clearly. But if we can control our emotions and find ways to control them, then we are better able to control our thoughts, right? Control those unclear thoughts, right? By clearing these thoughts, right, we are better able to make better decisions, because we now are able to rationalize things, be more rational, think clearly. And with clear thinking, we're better able to solve problems. You see, it's very tough for us to solve our problems when our brains are foggy. We have foggy brain, and we can't think clearly. But with clear thinking, it's better that way, because we can solve problems and be more efficient at that. And remember, we want to be much more efficient at doing things. We want to have a clear mind so that we have a clear and strong mindset. And number 3, a third aspect or key aspect for emotional control is impulse control. At times we're too impulsive. We do things without actually thinking about them, and then at times we regret because we did it in a very short notice or in an impulsive way. We just did it because that's how sometimes we're programmed, or we've programmed ourselves, right? So we don't control our impulses, right? One impulse that usually gets to us, a lot of us, at least from my research, is at times when we see something that we want, right, and we had not planned to buy it. Or even if you're walking down the street somewhere, and someone is walking with some shoes or some handbags or some wallets, whatever, you have this impulse to buy, right? Even if you had not planned or you had not budgeted to buy something of that nature, right? That's an impulse that you cannot control, right? But if you have your emotion in control, right, you can then put that aside, right, and not use your emotions to actually drive you to buy the thing, all right? and comes from experience. Sometimes you're emotional, you see something you like, you want it there and then, but that's just sometimes being emotional. So if you can control your impulses, able to reduce those reactions. And when you're able to reduce those reactions, right, you become much more thoughtful and deliberate at what your actions or where your actions take you. And thus you will respond thoughtfully to such situations. And last but not least, key aspect of emotion control before we wrap up the whole podcast, right? This key aspect usually gets the best of us, right? All of us, right? And this is relationship management. This one in its own deserves a whole podcast on its own, right? Because relationship management actually is very important. But my thing is that any relationship always starts with the individual. Before you go into any serious relationship or any sort of relationship, it doesn't matter whether it's romantic, whether it's a business or just a friendship, you have to have done some work on yourself first. Make sure you know your key triggers, you know what gets you emotional, and you know what is needed from the other individual, right? But most of all, or as you go into any sort of relationship, you have to make sure you can regulate your emotions. If your emotions are all over the place, then it'll be tough for you to actually maintain that relationship, right? Whether it's romantic or whatever, it'll be tough because your emotions are not under control. And so you won't be able to relate better to others. However, if you can relate to your emotions and regulate them and be able to control them, then you're better able to actually create better relationships around you. This is because as you are able to control your emotions, right, you're able to communicate more effectively. Since communication is one of those key aspects to a relationship, right, to relationships, right, you're then able to maintain healthier relationships because you can communicate without being emotional or being all over the place with your emotions. And so that wraps up today's podcast, looking at how we can best create strong mindset with these 3 pillars. And I hope these 3 pillars, you can work on them and sort of adapt them to yourself. Hopefully they can help you grow to be a better version of yourself and have a much more strong and resilient mindset. And that's all I have for you today. Until next time, peace.